Good evening, my fellow hools. This is the Daydream Arcade, and welcome back to Spicy Reddit Stories. I'm your host, Darryl. This is Brianna. She's wearing an amazing teal-colored hat. I've never seen her wear such a bright color before in my entire life, but we are here to read some of the most tea-filled stories on the internet, and today we're going to be doing something that I'm coining True Off My Confessions.
True Off My Confessions. I really like that.
Me as well, because today we're going to be reading off of two different subreddits, Confessions and True Off My Chest. So, Brianna Kiss.
Hi.
How are you? How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. We just watched a horror movie that we crossed off of our bucket list.
We did.
Well, I've seen it already, but you haven't seen it.
No.
Barbarian.
Yeah.
That's horror movie recommendation of the week. It's a segment that will probably exist every now and again that I'm just making up right now. But if you want to see an awesome horror movie, go watch Barbarian. It's,
it almost made me
Justin
turn it
Long.
off. But
yeah,
then, but it
I mean,
was
you almost
worth
wanted
it.
to turn it off at the end.
Yeah, it was worth it though. It was worth getting through it.
Yeah,
It's very satisfying.
it's better than Rabid Grannies.
I'm genuinely so sorry for fucking suggesting that.
No, it was. There's literally only one part in that movie that made me cringe so hard, and it was because it was unnecessarily gory.
Which one?
Where the guy literally gets his ass eaten.
Oh, yeah. That was
a little tough to watch.
a little rough. That was a little rough.
But yeah, no, if you guys, two movies, Barbarian, and if you want a really unnecessarily bad, good, weird time, Rabid Grannies.
Yeah, if you want to laugh, watch Rabid Grannies.
All right. You want to get into these stories?
Yes.
All right.
This first story comes from r/True Off My Chest. The title is, I'm terrified to tell my wife what her sister has been doing. Tea. Okay.
This is the tea dance?
Tea.
Oh, I thought you were going like this.
No, I went. Okay. I made a throwaway account specifically to post about this because it's been eating at me and I still don't know what to do. Warning, this is long. The event that drove me to post here happened 4 days ago, so it's still kind of fresh. For some context, my, female 28, wife's sister, female 25, my sister-in-law, is trans, 22. And the entire family has been supportive of her, my wife and I included. This is important.
It is important. Support your trans kids.
God damn it. Support them! Anyway. Anyways, my mother's birthday was on the 16th, but since she was away with my dad, we decided to have a birthday party for her at our house on the 23rd. Everyone came, my sister-in-law included. Now, I feel like I should mention this. Anytime that my wife and I had a get-together with family at our house, and her sister came too, she would always dip off away from the gathering and disappear somewhere in the house. She's very introverted at times, so we'd all think that she just went to play with the dogs or watch TV. That's what we thought. But on the night of the 23rd, we were all ushered back inside to light the candles and sing happy birthday to my mom. I said I'd go find sister-in-law since she again went off somewhere. No big deal. So I walk upstairs and notice the door to the master bedroom. That makes no sense. It was closed when I thought I had closed it. And the light was on when I thought I turned it off. I saw the light from the space under the door. So I open it, thinking that I was wrong, and I go to turn the light off. Before I could reach the light switch, I saw my sister-in-law standing in my wife's closet trying on her lingerie. She had one of the drawers to her lingerie dresser on the floor, and she had been taking some out, trying it on, and then putting it back. I didn't say anything out loud because I'm a pretty intimidating person, so I just made a noise with the door, and she spun around and slammed the closet door. I mustered up the courage to finally say, my mom's name is ready to sing happy birthday. They're all waiting for you, and stood outside in the hallway until she came out. As I was following her back, that's when it clicked. All of those times where she'd vanished in our house, this is what she was probably doing. I was horrified and sick to my stomach. My wife had clear boundaries about keeping our bedroom off limits, so we've always kept our bedroom door closed. We never thought anything of it. I'm very protective of my wife and her space, and I fought the urge to say something all night, but I never did because I wanted that night to be about my mom. It worked because nobody suspected anything wrong and the party carried on as planned. Ever since then, sister-in-law has been texting, apologizing, saying how she's been having a hard time passing and this was her last resort option. This doesn't make sense, since my wife has offered many times to take her shopping and help her, and I've always supported that. My problem now is, after I tell her what happened, what do I do? Or what do we do? Where do we go from there? This is clearly a trust issue now, so now how do we rebuild that trust with someone we deeply care about? Not necessarily asking for advice, but just getting those inner questions out there. I'll post an update when I can.
Okay. So sister-in-law, just to sum it up, sister-in-law was caught by OP trying on her lingerie. And now trust is broken because she specifically said the bedroom's off limits. What did they do? Go to the bedroom. Yeah. And okay. I mean, obviously, like, you got to have a conversation about this.
Yeah, like, it's a little...
It was probably embarrassing for the sister-in-law.
Yeah.
But go ahead. What were you going to say?
It's a little bit spicy because, you know, the sister did say, like, you know, she's going through a tough time right now. She's having a little trouble passing. So I can definitely understand, like, hey, let me try this. Maybe it'll help. Like, maybe it'll help me feel better or whatever. But trying to figure that out doesn't mean, like, breaking your sister's trust and, like, your brother-in-law's trust. Like, I do think if you were interested in, like, finding different clothing options, you should probably talk to your sister. Be like, hey, like, what do you recommend? Like, what do you think I should, like, look for, or stuff like that. Just have a conversation with them, I think. Like, I don't think you should go behind their back and do that stuff.
They could take you shopping.
Yeah.
Too, you know. I don't know why it reminds me of, did you ever watch Lizzie McGuire?
Yeah.
I mean, this is not the same case, but do you remember the episode where where her and her friend want to get a bra or something, and she's, like, too, like, nervous to even ask about it, but then the mom's like, oh my god, I will take you shopping. Like, yes.
Yeah.
Not that it would be, like, that exciting, but
no, but even,
like, they could just, like, ask to just go shopping and try on her own. Yeah.
Even the sister, like, offered to take her shopping and stuff. I'm not entirely sure why the sister-in-law refused. It could be, you know, she's just uncomfortable with going out shopping and stuff, but, like, I don't know.
So I completely missed the part where
pay attention.
Had, like,
why are you ignoring me
shopping
today?
I don't know, man.
God damn it. There is an update, though.
Yes.
There is an update. Update on the sister-in-law situation. Long. If you're reading this... Oh, wait. I should probably send that to you.
No, I'm looking at it.
Oh, okay. Sick. Cool. If you're reading this, hi. You're likely here from my post on the True Off My Chest subreddit.
We are.
We know we are. My post was locked, so I can't comment or reply, and I don't really know of any other subreddit that I could link the original post, plus my updates. So I guess I'll just post them here and hope everyone finds it. This is kind of long with no TLDR, so please make the time to read it. I got you! Before I give any updates, I did want to comment on some things. I've had a few people accusing me of posting rage bait and a fake story, and I've had comments asking me what the big deal is. Sisters share clothing all the time. We can just wash it, etc. So I'm going to address those. No, my story is not rage bait, and it isn't fake. My wife and I are both in our 20s, and we live just outside of Orlando, Florida. What happened is very real and may or may not divide our family, depending on sister-in-law's motive. And no, sister-in-law being trans isn't the sole reason I posted this. I would have the same reaction if it were anyone else doing it. Those accusing me of transphobia need to get a fucking grip. I don't know what else to say besides that, and I'm not going to entertain that any further. Yeah, from what I took away from the story, granted, I am not trans, so I cannot speak for the trans community.
She's about to. No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna go kill myself. I didn't think she was coming off transphobic. But there could be underlying, like, meanings
Concerns?
or stuff. Yeah.
I don't
know. So again, not speaking for the trans community, just putting that out there. What's it called? Now, on to the comments asking me what the big deal is, that everyone's exaggerating, sisters share clothes all the time, etc. The first concern is the fact that she deliberately broke boundaries we have set in our home. Period. The second concern of why it is, in fact, a big deal is that she had been doing this for some time now without us knowing. That'll be covered in the updates. This means that ever since she started doing this, my wife has worn that same lingerie, not knowing that someone else, nether regions, was in it before. And no, it's not just bras or tops. These were also thin and revealing bottoms as well. Stuff that you shouldn't share with other people. This also included brand new, never worn pieces that wife was saving for our anniversary in 2 months. These all had sentimental value to them, and they weren't fucking cheap either. Lastly, it's a huge deal because I walked in on it. I will tread lightly on this since I don't want to be insensitive, but sister-in-law is still pre-op, so unfortunately she still does have male genitals. I saw this. I, a lesbian, walked in on a nearly naked person with male genitalia trying on my wife's lingerie. It's traumatizing. Can't expect people to just be all right after that. So, updates. Update 1. On late yesterday afternoon, evening-ish, February 27th, my wife came home from her friend's house. She was there helping her do some DIY stuff in her kitchen in the days after Mom's birthday. I sat her down and knew she could tell something was wrong because she was holding my hand. I told her everything. I didn't beat around the bush. Actually, my exact words, sister-in-law has been trying on your lingerie. I walked in on her doing it the other night at my mom's party, and I've been trying to find the words to tell you. We were stunned with the thickest silence ever, and then my wife just went, "What?" I repeated what I said, and then I included the specific things she was trying on, the brand, color, everything. That's when it clicked in her that I was being serious because she knows that I know what she wears. She stood up and started panicking, asking if her sister took any of it, if it's been washed since, and if she's said anything. I told her not from the looks of it, yes, I washed it the day you left to go to your friends, and yes, she's apologized a lot through text since then. I showed her the messages and she started bawling, saying how she doesn't understand why her sister didn't tell her what was going on. She then started apologizing to me, saying how I didn't deserve to walk in on that. I tried to divert the conversation back to her, telling her how this was ultimately about what she wants to do. She asked me to show her where she was rummaging, so we went to her closet and I showed her. I could see the color drained from her face and her energy shift. She ended up tossing whatever her sister tried on, and I helped her do so. We then went to shower since she didn't want to be alone in her thoughts. She also expressed to me how she felt violated and that her privacy and intimate life has been plundered through, and doesn't want to go back in her closet right now. I don't blame her at all. By the way, this also mows over any remarks claiming that she probably wouldn't care. Well, she does care, and she's humiliated. Humiliated. I don't know why I said that like that. As for confronting sister-in-law, we've decided to talk to her together at our house, with me being my wife's support. What we're going to say outside of asking her the obvious questions is not planned yet, but we do know how to bring it up, so that's a start. We're hoping there's no dark motive behind this and something we can slowly build and move past, but only time will tell. This is the first update, as I don't want to wait until this all ends and floods an entire post with one long-ass story, so I've decided to update as this all unfolds. Yes, my wife now knows and is okay with it, so long as I don't reveal anything else about our lives. Her and I both appreciate the support and suggestions. I will keep you all updated.
So it just boils down to the sister-in-law obviously violated the trust and a boundary that was put in place.
Yeah.
And they still continue to do it.
Yeah.
Which is wrong.
Yeah. It's very much a problem, like, I guess, how long she was doing it, because, man, especially if she knew...
And then just putting it back, too.
That's weird. That's like, it doesn't even matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter who the fuck you share clothes with. It's still gross. Like,
yeah.
If it's not washed, like, it's like, okay, what are we doing?
Yeah. yeah, family member, significant other, friend. I don't know. Like it probably I wouldn't be like
especially in
I
the
need
nether
to burn all
regions.
this now, which is
Yeah.
not what they're saying. But,
Yeah, they just threw it out, but
yeah, but yeah, no, that's I don't know. I saw a comment underneath here saying that it could be a fetish.
interesting. I don't know. It could be, but like there could be so many reasons behind it. Like,
Yeah.
it's just such
And
a
it's not like we can take this Reddit post and garner so much from it that we know exactly what's going on.
Yeah, like there's so many different reasons, and I don't think anybody is gonna know until or if OP decides to update. I don't see any other updates after this most recent one. So I don't think we'll know just yet. But if there is an update, we'll probably read that in a later video.
Yeah. We haven't done like updates on stories ever.
Yeah, I don't think we have. But let us know if you're interested in like a update video. We can get
I think they are.
Yeah.
they may have given up hope.
Yeah,
but
like fuck these guys, dude.
We'll maybe do one.
We'll maybe do one. And maybe if this is updated, we can come back to it.
I'm gonna jot it down here in my notes.
Slay. But yeah, definitely talk to sister-in-law. I think that's a really good idea. They're not really looking for advice, but everything that they're doing seems like the best course of action.
Yeah, I think so.
So I'd say they got it.
Yeah.
They got it on lock. Lesbians, woo! My fellow lesbians, woo!
My fellow men. Next story. Yeah.
Who was a man here?
Guys, it's okay. We literally just had an HR meeting about this. It's fine.
If you guys are interested in binging all of the other videos that we have, there's going to be a playlist linked at the end of the video, and you can see all the other episodes that we've done. Or if you don't feel like waiting to the end of the video, you can just go on our channel, go to playlists. We'll be right there. Right there.
My first post was posted off of r/confessions by feeling.7329. 3729. Sorry.
What happened there?
Oh, God. I got a touch of the dyslexia.
Or no, what's the one for just specifically numbers? Isn't it like dyscalculia or something like that?
Dyscalculia. I don't know.
I think I just made that up, but I know there's a word for
term for dyscalculia. Dyscalculia.
Okay, I missed a letter.
I let a school bully get his ass kicked in my class today.
Woo!
I teach high school history. This is for all you that have ever been bullied out there. I teach high school history, but I also teach elective film studies. Basically, my class watches movies and writes reports. I sit in the back and play Candy Crush or watch
So true.
The dream. I have a freshman student named Drew. He's your typical freshman boy asshole. 2 months, he got into trouble for beating up a 6th grader and broke the kid's arm. He seemed proud of it. Weird thing to be proud of, but okay. Well, surprise, surprise. When second semester started last month, Drew and the older brother of the kid who he beat up are both in my class. The older brother, Jeremy, is a senior. There was no interaction between them, but they were aware of each other. Today, we were watching Jurassic Park, and I think Drew said something to Jeremy about his brother. Jeremy said something back, and Drew said, "Make me." I thought about telling them to sit down, but didn't. Jeremy started wailing on Drew for a good couple of minutes. I told them to knock it off. Just knock it off.
Hey, knock it off.
Oh my this another row. Drew kept his head down the whole class. His head looked like a pumpkin, and you could tell he was going to have a black eye and busted lip. I give Drew props because he didn't snitch. He did get sent to the nurse and sent home, though. I hope he learned his lesson. That's got to be embarrassing to get your ass kicked in front of your friends like that. Yeah,
especially
100%.
Being like this fucking big ass like hard bully, like getting your ass kicked.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah, guys, like don't be a bully, and also don't like fucking fight people. Like, I don't know why, because if you get thrown into a situation like this where you have an older brother and you are unfortunately the bully, like, you better hope that they don't one day just snap on you, because honestly, this kid fucking deserved it, in my opinion.
Yeah, especially starting it. Like, he said something about the brother, and of course your brother's gonna fucking protect you or like stand up for you. And then to get your ass handed to you like that's hilarious. I love karma.
The top comment says, I cannot thank you enough for your dedication to teaching the younger generation. I can't thank you also I can't thank you also. I can't thank you enough also for allowing that. There we go. I know it seems harsh to let a kid get beat up, but he had to understand the actions have consequences. A lot of teachers in my school put me in detention for standing up to bullies. I was the problem because I didn't let bullies win. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I know that kid appreciated you for letting him get a few licks in for his brother. He either learned in the classroom or learned in the streets, and these days people will pull a gun quick. I'd rather him get a busted lip than a bullet just to learn not to pick on folks. Good for you. Thank you. You don't get paid enough.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That whole, like, you gotta be a bigger person and like ignore bullies. Sometimes that's not enough, dude. Sometimes you gotta beat ass.
Sometimes they're just gonna keep getting away with it, because a lot of those bullies just try and see what they can get away with, and when they can get away with a lot, then they're just gonna keep pushing. And sometimes there needs to be someone that's gonna push back, in my opinion, and be like, no, either I am going to literally or physically put you in your place. So I think sometimes bullies deserve to get the shit kicked out of them.
Yep. I couldn't agree more. Good on Jeremy.
Good on Jeremy. I'm not the type of person that really, don't get me wrong, I have a lot of inner rage. But I mean, I don't know how you feel, but
I'm waiting for the day I can beat some ass. I'm waiting for the day. I'm counting down.
Dude, the other day I was on Instagram going through my comments on that video that I posted from the show of me talking about road ragers and how I kind of have a little bit of road rage at people being
stupid
dicks and being stupid. People were coming from my life in the comments.
Really? I thought people were being supportive.
I mean, there were some, but there were definitely some where people were like, hang on, let me see. Let me go through my comments here. Actually, this one kind of made me laugh. How are you scared? If they're driving fast, there's no reason you should be able to hit them. This person also completely misunderstood the entire point of my video.
That is the stupidest comment I have ever heard in my life. If they're going fast, you can't hit them. They can hit you.
Yeah. My favorite comment, shit up. And I comment under that. Yeah, I said, how would one even shit up?
Dude. Was that on Instagram?
Yeah, another one. Maybe learn how to drive, den pussy. Get your shit straight. I ain't never got into an accident, so maybe get the fuck out of yay way.
Illiteracy.
I'm literally commenting under this right now.
Oh.
No, I'm not.
Don't do that. They already embarrassed themselves enough. They're illiterate.
Yeah. So yeah.
That's really funny, actually. But yeah, fuck bullies. Y'all can get fucked. And I hope more people beat your ass.
Sometimes the lessons that we learn in school aren't on the chalkboard.
They're in these fists.
Yeah. And I can't take credit for that. That was a comment that I just skimmed past.
You liar.
There's nothing authentic here. There's nothing authentic
You
on this
liar.
show. Yeah, exactly. So the video's going to end now. Ha! I just lied. I lied. I'm continuing to be a liar. Hi, Shadow.
Hi, Chad. My next story was posted on r/confession, posted by user Big Massive Schlong.
I don't know anyone that's ever referred to their dick as a schlong, like, without it being a joke.
I imagine this is probably satire. Okay. Title is, They Fired Me Months Ago. Most of my meals still come from their break room. I used to work...
Break room.
Fuck you, I tried to move past it.
It's not getting past me. Not getting past me today, bitch. Not today.
Break room. Okay.
I would love a bake room, though, to be quite honest with you.
That sounds really cool. It's just a giant oven.
This... Oh, we're getting canceled.
Yeah. Okay. I used to work at a small ice rink as a Zamboni driver. I'm a broke college kid, and a few of the other employees were broke college kids, so they often had pizza, hot dogs, ramen, and things of that nature in the break room. The thing is, they fired me in Decembered. Sorry. The thing is, they fired me in December. By that, I mean they never said I was fired, but they never scheduled me for any more hours and completely ghosted me. In doing that, though, they never told me to give my keys back. The keys that opened the break room. So every week, I bring a Tupperware, go through the back entrance, and steal as much food as I can. What can I say? I'm jobless and can't afford food. There's no cameras. Who's gonna stop me? I technically work there. I'm invincible, and my food comes from their wallet.
Whoo! Oh my god. Damn. They might have a big massive schlong because that's the kind of energy.
Big, massive schlong.
That's the kind of energy that they're giving off here.
Hey, they got big schlong energy.
Yeah. First off, it is a small ice rink. Maybe they can't afford the security upgrade, but the fact that there's no security cameras,
weird.
Or maybe there's no cameras in that general area. But
maybe, well, no, because they go in through the back entrance.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe there's just cameras in the front. Hopefully,
perhaps.
Because if there's just no cameras at all,
keep the rear secure. You gotta always keep the rear secure.
Watch out for the rear.
Yeah, because they might go in there and they might take shit out of there, like hot dogs or pizza or
ramen,
whatever. Yeah.
They keep ramen in the rear.
I see the edit, and I'm trying to go through the comments and see these people.
Yeah. There is this comment saying, I'm not mad about it. It doesn't sound like expensive food, and you are in survival mode. Survival mode. If you have not already, please apply for assistance/food stamps. Go to the food bank. I'm flabbergasted. I did not go to the food bank when I was in college. I thought food banks were for truly needy people, not realizing I was the one in need. It would have made college a lot easier.
Yeah. No, there's some food banks around here that, they're trying to push away the stigma of, people that are like homeless or just really poor or just are very low income families. Like, no, like a lot of the food pantries around where I am, it's very much about serving the community. And like, even if you're in need for just like a month or two, like they highly encourage you to go. And as long as you are a resident in such county, then you're able to go. They give you like a list of like options and points and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I have a couple friends who work in these local food pantries, and I see on like their stories all the time trying to destigmatize the idea behind food banks and food pantries and stuff like that. And I wish more people would take advantage of it, especially now that the way that the economy is and is probably going to be headed and how expensive food is. With these places, you're able to get your food, and it may not be everything that you want, but if you're really in that dire need of choosing bills or food and you have to pick the one, food pantries are a great option.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's not saying to like, if you're able to go and buy groceries and like you're in a more comfortable position, but you don't feel like paying for groceries, don't go to a food bank and take the supplies from other people who genuinely need it. But if you are genuinely struggling, I would take advantage of those. Like, they're there for a reason. This top comment by Nolan4L. Well, technically, how do you know you're fired if they didn't tell you? Also, I would do the exact same, because if they were to fire you, then they should have got their property back. So I would assume they are extremely slow and just can't afford to put you back on the schedule until it gets very busy. I don't know, but do what you can to survive.
Yeah. And it's shitty that they kind of just stopped putting OP on the schedule.
Yeah. And to not say anything, like, all right, you guys kind of suck.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take your food.
If anything, I would say just be careful, because if they catch you doing this, like, I mean, granted, it is just food, but you are technically breaking into the property.
Yeah, you are trespassing and stealing.
So, yeah, just be careful.
Yeah.
Real quick, I want to see if there's some sort of holy shit. This comment saying, "I don't think that morally justifies your stealing, bro. You deserve to go through a famine."
See, that's fucked up. This guy is 19. Like, are you kidding?
Yeah. Holy shit. And then OP responding saying, "That is a very normal response from a very normal person that definitely is not a sociopath that needs to be put away from normal society."
Yeah.
To which they were the same person that said that you deserve to go through a famine replied to OP saying, "Move to North Korea, you will thrive there." Bro, I hate people so fucking
I hate
much.
Reddit. I hate Reddit.
God, y'all are a bunch of brain dead fucks.
Jesus Christ almighty.
Oh my god. Oh my god. This has to be the most ignorant fucking comment I've seen. And the last one was pretty ignorant. You can afford college and not food. How the fuck?
Do they not know scholarships exist?
Yeah, an OP is it says, "OP, I'm on a merit scholarship, but clearly you wouldn't have experience with that." And they said, "I'm just above stealing. Guess that's a new thing." Bro,
oh my god, people are so
some
fucking
of you need to unclench
dude.
your assholes and pull your head out of them. God!
Dude, I hate people.
Ah! All right. I'm going to move on to my next story before I have a fucking conniption. My next post was posted off of True Off My Chest by Significant by 7551. See, I got the number that time. I got it. I didn't confuse my numbers.
Look at you. Learning.
Yeah. Thank you. Never too late to learn in life.
No.
I completely moved out, didn't tell my roommates, and left them without any dishes or kitchen appliances, including a microwave. Might seem a little petty, but let's see if it's justified. Hi. I'm not one to post on Reddit, but I've been watching a lot of Smosh Reddit stories recently, so I figured I would share this gem from a couple of years ago. Guys, we love Smosh. We love Smosh Reddit stories. No need to, shout them out. They're a small YouTube channel.
They're super small. I don't think you guys heard of them.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely didn't start YouTube when I was a little kid and helped inspire me to want to become a content creator. Anyway!
No, not at all.
For the sake of making things more clear, I'll be giving people fake names. And they posted some, a cast list here. My freshman year roommate, Gretchen. My sophomore year roommate, Karen. My other roommate, Regina. Karen's cuddle buddy will be referred to as Cuddle Buddy.
Not Mean Girls.
Yeah. Haha.
Mean Girls.
When I was a sophomore in college, I lived with an on-campus apartment with 3 girls, Gretchen, Karen, and Regina, that I had previously been friends with the year prior. Before moving into the apartment in August, there were already many issues. These girls had previously been my friends, essentially shutting me out of their lives the semester prior. The apartment had 4 of us living there with 3 rooms. Regina and Gretchen lived in the singles, and Karen and I didn't care, so we shared the double. But I did care. Karen was the roommate. It sounds like you got yourself into this predicament by being passive about it. But Karen was the roommate I got along with the most, despite the drama between me and her quote-unquote cuddle buddy. Yes, she referred to him as her cuddle buddy, which I always thought was kind of funny, so that's why from now on he will be cuddle buddy. I had originally been close with cuddle buddy and had trusted him as someone to talk openly with about how I was struggling with my mental health during the pandemic. This is the fall 2020 on campus, before Karen and cuddle buddy were a thing. But he pushed me away, making me feel like I was a burden when I was at my lowest. To be fair, I was not in a good mental headspace at the time due to the pandemic, so I understand that I could have been difficult to be around. My issue was that he told everyone in our friend group. After this, everyone looked at me differently and ended up choosing to exclude me from the group. The problem, I was supposed to live with them in an on-campus apartment the following year. Gretchen was my roommate freshman year. On paper, we had a lot in common, but in reality, there wasn't much. Things were always kind of awkward with some tension, but we both just kind of went about our business. The third roommate, Regina, had been one of my closer friends who eventually ripped into me for being friends with certain people. I'm sorry if any Reginas are watching this right now and are like, I was bullied my entire childhood because
and you just literally triggered them. Like, that's fucked up, Darryl.
I know. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Apology video coming next month. I kind of just found that one a little funny. So that's a very brief background to set the scene. I knew the vibes in the apartment the following year would be tense. That summer, the apartment was declared the Snake Pit to my close friends. The Snake Pit sounds like it would be an awesome bar.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Snake Pit didn't start off well. No one wanted to bring/knew what we needed, so I ended up bringing most of the kitchen supplies for the apartment. I had most of the stuff we needed already, so I didn't mind. Despite how mean they had been to me, I didn't really care and tried to pick and choose my battles. I owned all of the pots, pans, dishware, silverware, cooking utensils, and the microwave. This is important for later in the story. As expected, none of the girls treated my dishes well. They would often leave all their dishes in the sink and would never clean up after themselves. My bowls and knives would sit in the sink for weeks.
Wow.
It got to the point where a lot of my utensils were even starting to rust. I often found myself cleaning up after them just so that my stuff wouldn't get even more damaged. This was a constant trend the entire time, with Gretchen the year before. I knew this was a habit she had, as she would leave bowls of milk from her cereal out and not clean them before she left to go see her boyfriend for the weekend. So I wasn't surprised that this was an issue in the apartment as well. And then there was the cuddle buddy. My roommates often wouldn't tell me when they were having people over. At the beginning of the year, as a courtesy, I had always told them when my boyfriend was coming over.
As you should.
I figured, yeah, exactly. I figured since we weren't all close, it was the considerate thing to do. Since I was never informed when other people would be in the apartment or be sleeping over for multiple days in a row, I eventually stopped telling them when I was bringing people over. Karen would constantly bring her cuddle buddy around. I didn't like being around him after everything he had done to me, but I didn't say anything because I didn't think it was right for me to complain about her bringing him over when my boyfriend would also come around frequently. At times, I would come home from class in the middle of the day and the door to our room would be locked. Eventually, they would open the door and let me in, or there were times when I was told to come back later. What? In your own living space?
In your own bedroom.
One time this happened was at 12 a.m. on a weeknight when I had 8 a.m.s the next morning.
Absolutely.
I ended up having to, fuck that shit, dude. I ended up having to sleep on the couch in my boyfriend's apartment, which became a frequent occurrence. I generally tried to make the best of my situation. I kind of decided to lean into the idea of becoming the weird roommate which my mom fully supported. We love a supportive mom. She ended up mailing me 2 of those sequin pillows that had a picture underneath that were zoomed in faces of Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec and Danny DeVito. I laid them out on my bed so that Karen and her cuddle buddy were greeted with them when they returned. Dude, I want these. I'm not a big fan of those sequin pillows or whatever with the pictures underneath, but it's a
funny sight. They're
yeah,
just really uncomfortable to lay on.
Yeah, I remember the last time I went to a store and I saw one. They were like all like done, like, you know, up, hidden, and I was the first one I grabbed. I swiped it away, and it was a Friends one, and I was like, "Burn it, burn it, burn it." Does that mean you don't like Friends, Daryl? I hate Friends.
Yeah, I find it very obnoxious.
I hate it. But granted, it was to be fair, it was made for a certain generation.
Mm.
Anyway,
you know who you are.
Yeah. But hey, listen, if anyone wants to get me one of these pillows, I would love a Danny DeVito one. Nothing mean, just being weird. My mom also helped me buy a life-sized cardboard cutout of Danny DeVito. He was magnificent. Yeah, I also want to get one of those and put it in the background here.
Yeah.
I didn't tell my roommates I got him and set him up in the living room so that when you came into the apartment, he was the first thing you would see.
That's awesome.
Yeah. My roommates never really got used to Danny, and he would often spook them when they came into the apartment and whenever they walked into the kitchen / riving room. The living room. Then I started printing out cursed memes in the library. The first being Obi-Wan saying, "Hello there," on the bathroom door, and the wall on the other side of the door with Grievous saying, "General Kenobi." I thought it was hilarious. I don't think any of them liked Star Wars, so they just found it odd. I then covered the part of the wall in the living room with weird Star Wars memes, including Ben Swallow. My harmless chaos in the apartment made it somewhat bearable to live with them, but it didn't last long. Then there was Hollow Weekend. Friday apartment.
Friday apartment.
Friday afternoon, I was just hanging out with my boyfriend in my room at the apartment. My roommates were all getting ready in the common area, and I had assumed that they were all going to a party together. Eventually, I heard more voices, and they started blasting music. Uh-oh. They were having a party and didn't tell me. Karen eventually came into the room, and I asked her what was going on. I was furious, but tried to keep my cool. She told me the truth and said she had assumed someone had told me. Well, no one did. Gretchen eventually came in and started yelling at me, saying that she lives here and that she could do whatever she wants in her home. I tried to emphasize that my issue was that no one told me, and that I would have to make plans to be out if I had known. I didn't care that I wasn't invited to the party that was happening in my own apartment. I was just given no heads up at all. I was told I was overreacting. I'm sorry, what? I grabbed some stuff for the night and left with my boyfriend. As we were leaving, walking through the party, I heard people talking about giving Danny DeVito tattoos. Which pissed me off even more. We ended up going back to save him. We walked into the apartment, not saying anything, and just grabbed Danny and left. I then proceeded to carry my life-size Danny DeVito cardboard cutout around my campus to bring him to my boyfriend's apartment where he wouldn't be vandalized and instead treasured. Why would you do that to Danny?
Leave him alone. Leave him out of this.
He's a beloved actor. All the way back in like the 70s, I think, when he landed Taxi. The 70s, maybe a little too long ago. But I wouldn't treat Danny DeVito like that. Once I had calmed down, I texted my roommates asking for us all to meet and talk about our communication as roommates. When I did meet with them, they all ganged up on me, making the discussion about why they thought I was a bad roommate. I remember one of their main points was that they didn't like that my boyfriend was over frequently, and I didn't tell them when my boyfriend was coming over.
Oh my God. The patience.
Oh my God. At the beginning of the year, I had told them when he came over, but they never told me when they had people over, so I stopped. I was also told that I was aggressive to Karen during the Halloween incident. To be fair, I thought I was pretty calm to her despite how angry I was. Well, maybe she shouldn't have chosen the name Karen, because that's how it works, right? We pick our names in this society. Anyway,
That's not her name, though.
What?
That's not like her actual name.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. She did pick a name. We'll cut that out. Sorry. The apartment eventually started to really impact my mental health as I started to no longer feel safe in my own home. The environment became too stressful to live in, so I fought with the school for a room change. Eventually, the school agreed to a room change. I didn't feel comfortable telling them that I would be leaving because I knew they would not react well, so I made a plan. I planned to move everything out while everyone was home for Thanksgiving.
Fuck yeah.
The day after Thanksgiving, my parents came home with me to my apartment and helped me move out everything. When we were done, the cabinets were completely empty. No dishes, no pots or pans, no microwave. The kitchen was bare. My side of the double bedroom was completely empty. Once I moved everything out, I blocked all of them and left our roommate group chat. I frankly wanted this experience to be over and didn't want to hear from them. People who were still friends with them on social media told me they were livid, but that was all I really needed to hear. I frankly didn't care how they reacted and just wanted to move on with my life. For the rest of college, I would see them on campus every so often. I assumed they were probably still angry at me because they weren't the type of people to ever let things go. I know I still live rent-free in their heads, and that was enough closure for me. Looking back, I regret nothing. Moving out without saying anything to them was honestly the best revenge, and I was happy to leave it at that. I know karma will do the rest.
Damn. Honestly,
Ooh.
yeah, good on her, dude. Like,
Yeah.
fuck these girls, bro.
Yep.
I've never personally, lived with a roommate. But I can't imagine being in that situation. I've heard so many like horror stories about just terrible roommates.
Yeah.
And I don't know how people have patience to deal with that. I'd be throwing hands if you disrespected where I live as well. Like, you got me fucked up.
Yeah. When I first moved out of my parents' place, the roommates that I live with, like, we came in, we were all friends, but by the time that I left, I specifically remember when I moved, I found like the next place that I was moving to, which is, where I live right now. And I think it was within a day or something, I was gone. Like I had moved my stuff over. I slowly started to just like kind of just grab my stuff, and I didn't have that much to begin with, so it wasn't really slow, I guess. But as soon as, and like thankfully, like our landlord, like I had already found a replacement and whatnot to take over my side of the lease, so it wasn't like I was technically breaking my lease.
Yeah.
And just leaving. So as soon as we had that backup, and also, mind you, my living space was like a closet. And we had a common area and whatnot. We had a kitchen, and we had parties a lot. But eventually, like I kind of just realized that I can't live with roommates.
Yeah.
And,
I feel like I wouldn't be able to as well.
And I did feel bad because I was streaming at the time, and this is back when, Mixer was around, and I would stream for like 8 hours or something like that. And having roommates with like thin walls, I'm sure I annoyed them a little bit or a lot. But this situation, dude, I can't imagine. And good for OP for honestly, some people might look at this and that was really irresponsible to do. But honestly, the other roommates kind of made it to be an insufferable living condition. So I don't really
literally
blame
seemed
OP.
like the most normal out of all four of them. Like, she brought all of the fucking kitchen supplies. Like, how the fuck were you gonna do anything in your kitchen if you didn't have anything? Like,
old school. Just eat with your hands.
And cook on what? The stove itself?
Stone. Get like a thin stone, put it on the... I don't even think they had an oven. They may have had an oven.
Well, they had an oven, but they didn't have a microwave. They didn't have pots and pans. They didn't have utensils. They didn't have plates. They didn't have nothing.
Yeah.
That's wild as fuck.
My girlfriend used to have a roommate who would only eat off of plastic plates.
That's valid.
I'd
be doing that. I'd be doing that. Less to wash. I hate doing dishes.
Less to wash. Get swept out into the Florida Sea. You know, it's not your problem. It's everybody else. The top comment here saying, "We hate you and we don't want you here." Quotes leaves with her things. How dare you leave?
Like what?
Status update. How is Danny? And to which OP said, Danny made it through the rest of college just fine, tattoo free. He now lives happily with my boyfriend and I in our apartment.
Aww. Cute.
Yeah.
You love to see it.
Yeah. Tune in next week where I have a Danny DeVito poster behind me now and where he will live forever. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gone up in price. He's gone up in price since I last saw him.
Really?
Danny DeVito cut out. Last time I saw it was like $65. Oh, I guess it's gone down.
Oh.
It's now $25.
Get in on that, bitch.
I might buy it on eBay because it's $19.
Do it. eBay fucks. I like eBay. My next story was posted by KNLYSMA. It's originally posted on True Off My Chest. Title is, My Dad Pulled a PewPew on My Husband. Last night, my parents arrived from out of town to celebrate my 7-year-old's birthday. My dad drove myself, my mom, and my child to dinner. We decided to try another restaurant after cruising through our first option's busy parking lot. I gave my dad directions and he began to argue with me, determined he knew his way around better than the person living there. He then began driving erratically and I asked him to bring us home. He wouldn't and continued to the next restaurant. I said to bring us home again, but he again refused. I texted my husband asking for a ride home and finally my dad agreed to take us back. He told me he was going to punch me in the face. My child began crying and screaming while my dad continued berating me through my pleads to stop doing this in front of her. Upon arriving home, my husband was in the kitchen. Words were exchanged. My dad told my husband he was going to kick his ass in our own home. A scuffle broke out and my husband ended up landing a punch to the side of my dad's face, which knocked my dad to the ground. My dad then stood up. At this point, I'm walking into the house with my mom and child steps behind. I screamed upon seeing the blood from my dad's face. He then pulled a gun and aimed it at my husband's chest. Needless to say, my parents picked up to make the multiple-hour return trip home. I'm done with any sort of relationship with my parents, but I grieve the loss of having parents and my child having that grandparent relationship. Any advice is helpful. Trying to wrap my head around this still.
Oh my God. Like,
That's intense as fuck. Your dad sounds like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
First of all, threatening you when you're just being like, hey, can you calm the fuck down and not drive like a fucking maniac with my 7-year-old in the car? Like,
yeah, that doesn't seem like such a big ask.
No.
You know?
And then fighting her on where to go when she's the one that lives here and they're visiting from out of town. Like,
yeah.
I hate.
Yeah, no. And also, they should 100%. I hope someone called the police because I don't care if you're a relative. You pull a gun on like me or a loved one, you bet your ass 911 is getting called.
Yeah. I don't know
like
who would have called 911 because they were at home, but
yeah. Excuse me.
Wow, the top comment says, your father is a dangerous criminal. If you don't report his crime, the next person he attacks, possibly hurts, or kills may be someone you care about.
Yeah, he did this with it seems like the dad did this with the confidence of someone that's pulled a gun on someone before.
And then someone said, what about OP's mother? I bet he's just so nice to her, right? And then the original commenter said, I realize it may be dangerous for her to leave him, but any other reason to stay with someone like that is no reason at all.
Yeah.
Then someone replied to that saying, it is not as often the physical threat of violence as people think. Much more often, it is the emotional dependency and feeling like they couldn't make it without the abusive partner. Personally, don't get it. Watched a lot of the women in my family go through it, and I don't understand what goes on in their brains to stay, especially when kids are involved, which must have been the case at some point, seeing as OP exists. And then OP replied to that saying this, for whatever reason, she needs to uphold the image of happily married for 40 years. That's really intense.
Yeah.
That's really intense.
Yeah, no, someone needs to put a stop to this dude, because he this isn't normal behavior at all, and he could easily just go out and like hurt somebody else in the future, or I wouldn't be surprised if he already has.
Oh yeah, I feel like this man has definitely hurt people already.
Yeah.
Or he could be one of those like fucking cowards that are just all bark and no bite.
Yeah.
And it's just emotionally abusive.
Yeah. Unfortunately, when you add the gun into it, it's just it just becomes a whole other situation of like, no matter what, even if it is the case where he's all bark no bite, you take someone serious if they have a PewPew.
Yeah.
This one commenter said, yes to everything you said, but here's the problem with Reddit stories and like assuming stuff, but how the heck do you escalate like that? Is he always like this? Are we missing a big part of the story, or did he have some kind of brain trauma that changed him? Can a stroke do this? What the hell? And audacious like saying, like the same person that commented under the one you just said, he's almost certainly been an abusive and threatening person for years, if not his whole life. What kind of person pulls a gun on a family member, never mind the parent of your grandchild? This is definitely how an abusive person acts. He's a danger, and he will escalate as he gets older, and things don't go his way as much as they used to. It didn't happen this time, but this is the kind of person who eventually is more effective at trying to kill someone they know. He should be in fucking jail.
Yeah. No, yeah, this guy sounds like a piece of fucking shit. Very sorry you have to deal with that, OP. And I honestly, I don't know about OP's mom, because like, it doesn't say she did or said anything, but it's like, what do you do in that situation when someone has a gun? Like, that's terrifying.
You listen. Don't be a hero.
Yeah.
Like, I know we see it in movies a lot, and people want to like,
I'm gonna disarm them. No, that's not how it works, dude.
Nah, man. Nah. And don't ever feel like less of a person for if you're in a situation where someone pulls a weapon on you and you end up doing what they ask, because if you walk away with your life, that's so much better than walking away dead.
Truly.
Well, I mean, you won't walk away because you're dead.
Walk away dead. Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Man, that's how you de-escalate a stressful story right there. You hear Darryl say something stupid.
De-escalate. You walk away dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do not blame her for not having any sort of relationship with her parents anymore. And, unfortunately, their child is not going to have grandparents. But it's like, much rather not have a relationship than have to deal with someone that abusive and that fucking unpredictable. And then the other person just not do or say anything or protect. Like, granted, she's probably also in danger with this guy. So I hope
100%.
That I hope eventually she is able to get out of that situation. But a lot of the time, the older generation especially, it's like,
yeah, they're not getting a divorce.
Stick it through. Yeah. It's
they're not.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's rough, man.
My next post was posted by r/trueoff by...
Try that again.
Yeah, I will. My next post was posted off of r/trueoffmychest by Mr. Peanut 321. my father-in-law accidentally posted a dick pic in the family group chat. This morning, my father-in-law posted a seemingly innocuous photo of our new dog in our family group chat. He had been visiting my wife and I over the weekend, and he took lots of pictures of our pets as he always does. I thought, oh, what a nice picture of our dog. It was actually a screenshot of a picture he took with other pictures from his camera roll visible at the bottom of the image. Something in the camera roll caught my curiosity, so I zoomed in. Instant regret. The next 6 pictures in his camera roll appeared to be a series of pictures of his 78-year-old semi-erect penis.
Six? There's 6 of them?
6.
That's fucking nuts.
A nice even number. No, it is literally nuts.
God. Oh
I immediately began to feel sick and wanted to gouge my eyes out.
Yeah.
I texted my wife and told her to delete the picture right away. Don't look at it, just delete it. It's just like for 10 minutes, it's just the dots going. We're just typing out. Oh, God. It's okay, y'all. She deleted it, and I'm pretty sure she didn't see the camera roll. Thank goodness. This was not the way I envisioned my morning proceeding. Well, hey, bud, it can only go up from here.
He really took a screenshot of his camera roll to send instead of just sending the pictures.
I'd imagine the father-in-law might be in his early 60s, late 60s, perhaps.
78?
Perhaps, maybe. Where's it? Oh, 78. Literally said 78.
What happened? 78?
We'll keep that in. This is my fault. Yeah, no, the fact that he's 78, he probably just doesn't know how to use a phone correctly.
But
he just learned how to
But he was able to send the screenshot. So
he probably wasn't wearing his glasses. He probably wasn't wearing his glasses.
That's so wild, and I would literally be traumatized.
Yeah, I would be too, but this is hilarious.
That is so fucking funny. And of course, the fucking significant other saw it. Oh my God. Well, I feel like that's a little bit better than the kid seeing it.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. The top comment, don't feel too bad. I know someone who's posted her nudes in her family group chat at least twice, and she's in her early 20s. Sometimes stuff accidentally, like, you know.
I don't know, man. I have never accidentally sent a nude to someone. I feel like I am too anxious.
Me either.
To like, I need to make sure I am sending it to the right person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I need to see the name. I need to double check I didn't click multiple names. Whatever.
You need to check their ID.
Yeah. I need to check their ID. Yeah. I need to check my ID. Like I need to be sure.
Yeah. I mean, do you ever send like a photo or something or just a text to like someone's old number that you didn't know was their old number?
I think once or twice.
Yeah, same here. But I'd imagine that this kind of thing happens a lot. Maybe with nudes, but people send accidental shit all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I've sent accidental texts.
It's unfortunate.
But like, I feel like if it's something that like spicy, I'm like, okay, let me make sure.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Guys,
have you ever sent like a screenshot of like a conversation you were having to the person you were having a conversation with instead of someone else?
Yes.
Yeah, I've done that. And I'm like, hey.
Hey. Promise not talking shit.
Just looking out. Just wanted to see if you have the same text that I do.
I'm going to. Are your messages green or blue?
That's really fucking funny.
I'm going to read another comment here. My ex-sister-in-law in her late 20s/early 30s at the time once posted a nude video to her Facebook story of her in a public bathroom. It just started with her face and then slowly panned down to show everything. My ex-boyfriend, her brother, opened it, and as soon as the camera started panning down to her chest, was just like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And tossed his phone. And then told me to see what it was and to let her know. He didn't want to embarrass her more by being the one to tell her. I had to message her on Facebook and be like, so, just so you know. But she was very thankful that I let her know. And it was only up for less than an hour, although there was definitely a few people who saw it. I guess it was supposed to be a private message to her boyfriend and somehow got onto her story. She was such a sweetheart too, and I really feel awful that it happened to her. She was so embarrassed, and I still feel awful for my ex too, because that's just so uncomfortable to see your sibling like that.
Wow. Yeah. Holy shit.
And you know who I also feel terrible for? Like celebrities whose like nudes leak.
Yeah, that's fucked
like
up.
That.
Because they fully hack into their shit to get that.
Yeah. And also people, like, I don't know, like, when I was in, like, high school, like, people would, like, if a nude photo got, like, sent to somebody or whatever, they would end up getting, like, leaked to, like, other students.
You know what was
and
really
stuff like
fucked
that.
up in my high school?
What?
There was an entire website made for, like, girls that, like, sent nudes. Yeah, and they would post it on there. I'm like, this is literally child pornography. Like... What are we doing right now?
This is yeah, no, it's just, it's so, it's like when you're a kid and you're that young, you know,
you're like, oh, this is exciting. Like, you don't know the implications of it.
Exactly, 100%. And it's like, it becomes like this drama thing, and then that person's life ends up, you know, becoming like a joke to everybody else.
Literally.
And it's not. Something very intimate and something that was meant for somebody else is now available for anyone to look at.
So fucked,
and that's really messed up.
Yeah. Very fucked up.
Yeah. So, yeah. If you're out there and you're one of those people that leaks shit like this, you're fucking scum. I hope the worst
for you, dude.
And yeah, I hope the worst absolutely happens to you, because you deserve nothing good in this life.
Yep.
So, and if you used to do it and you don't do it anymore and you realize the error of your ways, good for you.
But you're still kind of shitty that you did that.
Yeah.
Okay. My last story was posted on r/confession. User is Rear Engineer. It's a good name. My brother won the lottery, but I swapped our tickets. Oof. Oof. I think about this way too much. It's been years, but every time I see a lottery ad or hear someone talk about a big win, I feel sick. My brother...
Powerball being drawn tonight at midnight.
And then just...
There's a character in Ted Lasso who every time something, like, he gets nervous, he goes like...
Oh, no. I feel that, though. Every time I get, like, really anxious, I get nauseous. And I've thrown up before. And I'm like, oh.
Oh, me too.
My brother isn't the type to play the lottery. He's always been the responsible one. Good job, steady life, never takes dumb risks. But one random day, we were walking through a shopping center, and as we passed a news agent, he decided to grab a lucky pick ticket. Just a total impulse buy. I laughed at him, saying he was wasting his money, but for some reason, I grabbed one too, just for shits and giggles. A few days later, I was at his place and saw his ticket just sitting there on the kitchen bench, half buried under some unopened mail. I knew the draw had already happened, so out of pure curiosity, I checked the numbers, and my stomach dropped. It wasn't the jackpot, but it was a lot. Low 6 figures. The kind of money that could wipe out debt, buy a new car, or cut my mortgage in half. I don't even remember making the decision. My own ticket, a total dud, was still in my wallet. Before I knew it, I swapped them and left shortly after. A week later, we were having a beer, and he casually mentioned that he'd forgotten to check his ticket. I shrugged and said, yeah, you probably didn't win anyway. He laughed, agreed, and said he'd probably thrown it out already. I wanted to throw up. Cashing it was easy. The whole sum went into my mortgage and helped me pay it off at least a decade earlier. No one knew. He's doing pretty well for himself. Good job, nice place, no real financial worries. That helps ease the guilt a little. Makes it easier to convince myself it wouldn't have changed much for him anyway. This afternoon, at a charity raffle, we entered for a good cause but didn't win anything. He casually complained about how he never wins anything, and I immediately felt a tight knot in my chest. I laughed along, acted like it was nothing, but in the back of my mind, I wondered how different things could have been if I hadn't swapped our tickets.
Like,
It's just like, damn.
oh man, I was like saying the entire time, I was like, I hope that his brother just ends up fucking with him. But no, he didn't even check the ticket.
Oh, and he didn't even know. Ugh, that's rough. Yeah, I don't know if I'd be able to live with that guilt either.
Yeah, I once stole like $10 from my brother's wallet when I was like 12, and I regret it. I don't know if I would ever be able to live through the guilt of stealing a low number. Oh, this isn't even a low number. Six figures is a lot of money.
Like
a low six figures.
That's
It's like a small loan of $1 million.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Jeez Louise. That is really rough. Wow.
And the comments saying that they could have split it. The OP is greedy as fuck.
Yeah. They really could have. Like, he could have. I know it helped him out with like the mortgage and stuff, but it's like, if you're able to pay it off, and you know this is your brother's ticket, why would you not split it to make it fair?
Yeah. And chances are the brother probably could have ended up, if he knew that he won, maybe he would have wanted to split it with you because you were both there that same day.
He seems like a cool dude.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So, jeez, man. Hell is hot.
Greedy. Yeah, this comment also said, I would have shared if I'd won myself but got tickets with someone else, especially my brother. It would be as much fun watching someone else use the money as it would paying off my own nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have like a small set of like money put aside for like myself, and then maybe like I think a lot of people are always like, oh, I want to pay off my parents' debt and whatnot, but like my parents have already paid off their house. They've like they're both retired. They're both doing amazing, like their own things right now. So I may not have to worry about my parents. Siblings, maybe. Obviously, I'm not saying this just because we're on camera, but I would give you some money.
No, you.
And I don't want your fucking money.
Fuck you.
But no, I would. Man, that's just so greedy, man.
Yeah. That's really
and I know
fucked.
that there is a slippery slope that comes with winning a large amount of money and, you know, giving it away to people, because at the end of the day, people inherently are like largely driven by money.
Yeah, because it's so important in society.
Yeah, that if you start giving out handouts and other people hear about it,
they're going to take
more
advantage.
People start coming to you for money, and people are going to take advantage of you. Which is why when I see people talk about, like, you know, Kai Cenat recently came under fire for talking about how, like, he doesn't give any of his money to like his friends or anything like that. I could be misquoting what he said, but he I think it's kind of like they need to like earn their own
yeah, that makes sense.
like way or something like that. It's kind of like when people like bigger creators or something like might have like friends that like start something and they're like, could you like plug it on my show or something, and they may not. I think that kind of stuff mostly comes from not necessarily greed, but if I put my endorsement on this thing, or if I give like X amount of money, if I just like change someone's life by giving them like $1 million or something like that, that is an incredibly slippery slope, because it's like they didn't earn that.
No.
you know, and sometimes it's so much more credible to not endorse something like that and like let them figure their own way,
Yeah.
you know? And I know that that's a controversial statement to make, but
No, but it makes
I
sense.
kind of
Like,
get it.
you got to work for it because not everything is just handed out, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's why not a lot. That's why not a lot of people win the lottery.
Mm.
You know, it's one of the it's. I was about to say it's one of the easiest ways to get rich, but it's also
Very hard.
obviously very hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Money is it's a tricky thing.
It really
It's a
is.
tricky thing. People die over it.
Yep.
My last story. Could I love this person's username. It was posted off of r/confession by 404 not found IRL. I let a stranger hide in my apartment, and I don't know if I regret it. This happened last year, and I still don't know if I made the right call. It was around 11 p.m., and I had just gotten home from a late shift. I live in a small apartment in a not-so-great part of the city, so I'm always a little on edge when walking home. That night felt off. As I was unlocking my door, I noticed a guy standing at the end of the hallway. He wasn't doing anything, just standing there. But something about him made my stomach drop. I got inside, locked the door, and tried to shake it off. Not even 5 minutes later, someone knocked. Hard. I froze. It wasn't my neighbor. She texted before coming over. And I don't really have friends who drop by unannounced. Will, feel free to put in some sort of like creepy, dramatic.
What? Why are
music
we?
in the back.
Is it Halloween yet? Like, what the fuck?
Yes. For to immerse people in this last story. Thank you for sticking with us, everybody. Then a voice. Please, can you just let me in for a second? It was a woman. She sounded out of breath, almost panicked. I looked through the peephole, and there she was, maybe mid-20ish, wide eyes, glancing down the hall like she was being followed. I know, stupid move, but I cracked the door open just a little and asked her what's going on. She whispered that there's a guy, he's been following her since she left the train. I didn't even know where to go from there. That's when I realized the guy I saw earlier. My heart was racing, but I stepped aside and let her in. I locked the door immediately, turned off the lights, and we just stood in the dark, listening. A few seconds later, heavy footsteps passed my door. Slow, like someone was looking for something. Then, nothing. She stayed for about 30 minutes, just sitting on my couch, shaking. I offered her water, and we barely talked. Eventually, she called a friend to come pick her up. When she left, she just said thank you and disappeared down the hall. I never saw her again. I don't know if she was telling the truth. Maybe she was genuinely in danger, but I think about that night all the time, and I can't decide if I did the right thing or if I got really, really lucky.
Wow,
I think you did the right thing. I know that letting a stranger into your place, especially like nowadays, is scary.
Yeah.
And you open that door, you run the risk of her being a part of that situation, or maybe having her own agenda, and you fall into a trap. But at the same time, you also never know, because people out there are insane. Like, did you see the thing with like Pokimane and her friends and that stalker recently?
Oh, when they were like doing IRL streams or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. That guy like had a knife or whatever.
Yeah, I think so. Like, dude, people are scary. Like, you don't know. And for both of these situations, obviously, but
yeah, I think that they genuinely saved this girl's life.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because if all she did was just sit on your couch shaking like that and waiting for a friend to come over, like, she was genuinely
at that
scared.
point. Yeah, at that point, I wouldn't be guessing anymore.
Yeah.
I would be like at the door with like a bat.
Yeah.
Just like hoping that,
Yeah. And especially they saw that guy and they got a weird feeling, like that was for a reason, you know.
Yeah.
And
the
then
top
heard
comment here.
heavy footsteps like slowly walking by. Absolutely not.
Yeah, fuck that shit, dude. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, I cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. The top comment here has a very good point. I think she would have done something bad if she had intended to. She didn't, though. Yeah. Yeah, no, OP, you did a good thing. Sometimes it's good to trust your gut.
Yeah.
You know, most of the time I feel like when people trust their gut, because like the sensation of fear. I watched a video on this recently and why fear is important. And it's like an uncomfortable feeling that nobody wants to feel, but it is literally a survival emotion or a state of being, you know, that in those moments of fear, like let's say you're walking down a very sketchy street or you're walking in a park at night or something and you feel like you're being followed or being watched, you should probably trust that feeling and do your best to not appear vulnerable or try and find some way out and confidently, you know? And it's also good, especially I think for obviously like a lot of women that I know carry pepper spray in their bags. A couple of them actually have knives or like tasers. And hopefully you never have to use those things and you can just, you know, quickly but confidently walk like away or out of that dangerous area. But man, obviously I'll never know what it's like to be a woman and be in a vulnerable position of like somebody stalking or following to that kind of extent, and that sucks.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
People are scary.
Yeah. But good on you, OP. I really think you saved this woman.
Yeah. I don't know whose quote this is from, but this last comment I'll leave everybody with. The problem is not that there's evil in the world. The problem is that there's good in the world. If not, no one would care.
That's fair, but I don't think we should stop doing good.
I don't think that's what they meant, obviously.
No, I know, but like I feel like people can interpret that being like, all right, don't do good anymore. Just only worry about yourself.
That's fair. Maybe they shouldn't have phrased that the good in the world is the problem.
Yeah.
Because it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I get what you mean. Yeah, guys, just be good to each other out there, please.
Truly. Just keep each other safe. Like, fuck. There's too many bad shit. Bad people.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much for coming to this episode of Spice Your Reddit Stories. If you want, follow us at our social media. I'm at the Dairy Boy. She's at Certicate. Last thing, guys, we have a community Discord that you can find in the comments below. Come join. It's a pretty nice, awesome Discord community we got going on there, and you can chat with your fellow hools and sometimes chat with us. It's fun.
Yeah. It's a wholesome time,
guys. Very wholesome. Very wholesome. I'd give it 11 out of 10 wholesomeness.
11 out of 10. That's a good rating.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you in the next Spicy Reddit Stories video.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. Get out. Get out.
Leave.